You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, hi everyone. Welcome to Make Your Day Richer. It's Tuesday, it's Thanksgiving week. I hope you're all having a great week. I hope you get some time off this week. I hope you get to spend it with the people you love. I'm looking forward to it. We have, tomorrow is our 120th show, and then we're going to take 2 days off, Thursday and Friday. But we're going to have some great reruns that y'all have loved. Our highest rated show so far this season. And you're going to get those on Thursday and Friday. But we've got new shows. We're live right now, today and tomorrow. And then we'll be back on Monday with more shows, all new. But it's going so well. 81,000 views and downloads of the show. So thank you all so much. Everybody who watches, listens, shares, likes, subscribes, all of the things. Reviews, also very important. So thank you, everyone, for doing that and supporting the show. And if you want to support the show by buying me a coffee, because I love coffee, go to buymeacoffee.com/makeyourdayricher. It's a good way to support and donate to the show so we can keep talking to amazing people and connecting you with all of these people that we do 5 days a week here on the show. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of producing a live stream for Stacey Andon. She hosts a great podcast called Everyday Enchantment, but yesterday she was doing a live with two people about astrology, I think, or this is the fun part, is some of the people that I help with their podcasts, with their live streams, I don't really understand it, but I get to learn. And so I was producing it behind the scenes. She was talking to two women about Pluto into something with astrological, something with the change of the something. And it was very interesting. And go on her Facebook or her YouTube channel and watch it. But then they brought me out to ask a question. And it was fun. I thought I was just going to make sure that they all looked good and sounded good. But take a look at what happened yesterday afternoon live on Facebook and YouTube.
Love that. And I want to ask Rich. Rich of Make Your Day Richer is producing this for us because he's incredible. Rich, you're listening, I'm sure, and taking this all in. Do you have a question or something that you want to ask that we haven't talked about yet, my beautiful friend?
I mean, I'm sort of blown away. There was
right?
And I feel like I need to watch this 16 times to really understand.
We're just gonna read it.
Which is fine.
Yeah, you need a reading, Rich. You totally need a reading. Yeah.
All right. Yep, I do. So for my question would be, like, how do you work on just like letting it play out like that? Like, you know, I think we try to control everything ourselves and plan ahead, but that wasn't in my 5-year plan and blah blah blah. And with all of the, like, how do we just let go of that?
Well, from my perspective, because I love to intertwine wellness with all of this, meditation, silence, stillness, meditation, yoga practices where you're in your own body, that's when you can hear more of your own truth. And your own truth will tell you, this is happening, but I know that I'm in control of how I react to it. And
listen, can you hear the confusion in my voice of like, there was so much, and they're such beautiful people, and it was such a great live stream, but I'm into all that, like who's what. I have crystals here. Look, I have crystals here on the desk and I love it. But sometimes I don't understand it. And so I want to have them on this show to like dumb it down for us and talk about it in a way that I can understand so we can understand. Because I think it's important to to get all of that and get aligned and know what's happening and why things are happening and new moons and anyway, that's it. Okay, so I need everybody's help. I used to live in Maryland in a little town called Abingdon, which was very close to Havre de Grace, which was another small little town. I went to many networking events there. I know a lot of people from there, but I do not know this woman you are about to see. And pretty much every day, all day long, when I'm working, when I'm not editing a video, I am scouring YouTube for episodes of The Rosie O'Donnell Show. Now, Rosie puts them up every day, or her nephew does on hers, but sometimes I get caught up, or for whatever reason, hers gets taken down. So I came across this episode from the season 6 premiere, which was September 2001. And I'm listening, and you know how Rosie has an opening announcer. And this woman appears.
Hi, I'm Juanita Hardesty from Havre de Grace, Maryland, and this is the Rosie O'Donnell Show.
Who is she? Is what I need to know. I cannot figure out. I've watched this like 60 times. I can't figure out what she's saying her name is, but she's from Havre de Grace, Maryland. I know a lot of people, especially on my Facebook, are from Havre de Grace or live around there. Who is this woman? I'm going to play it again. I'm going to put it alone on my social media and tag people. If you know this woman, I want her on my show to talk about what it was like to do that opening announce. So watch again. Pay close attention. Are you her or do you know her?
Hi, I'm Juanita Hardesty from Havre de Grace, Maryland, and this is the Rosie O'Donnell Show.
Juanita Hardesty, I think is her name. Juanita Hardesty. If you're out there, I need you on my show, please, and thank you. Tonight, I get to go see Fortune Feimster. I love Fortune Feimster. I don't know if you have seen her live yet. I have not had the pleasure. I've seen her stand-up specials. I've seen her on all the things she does, Chelsea lately, and she's doing a smaller show tonight in Charlotte. She's from this area, Fortune, I don't know why you're not on the show while you're in town, but she's doing like new material. So she's trying out new material. So we're going to see her at the Comedy Zone while she like works out new material. I think it's going to be really, really fun. I've never seen a comedian try out material before. So very excited. It's going to be a little date night here. Maybe go out to dinner. I think we're going to go to the Bean, which is a vegan restaurant in Charlotte. And then we're going to go see Fortune. So I'll tell you all about that tomorrow. Maybe I'll meet her. I love Fortune. She's so funny. And she has a great podcast. It's been on hiatus. I hope it comes back, called Handsome, with Mae Martin and Tig Notaro. Two beautiful people with her. And Fortune's just a gem. So if you're out there and you're going tonight, let me know. And we'll chat during it or maybe sit by each other. I don't know if we have designated seats. I'm not sure how this is working, but that'll be really fun. So I'll tell you about that tomorrow. And I think that is it. We have a great show today. Nicole Wilson is here. I know you all know that I love tea. Coffee, but I also really love tea. And she is, I think, the queen of tea is what I'm going to tell her that she is. And so we're going to talk all about tea, the health benefits, the wellness benefits. I want to know, like, what tea should we be drinking in the fall? You know, like, what's a good summer tea? What's a good nighttime tea? And what is tea? Like, where does it come from? How many varieties? I have so many questions for her. So I'm going to take a break, get her on the screen, and we're going to talk to Nicole Wilson right after this. All right? Don't go away.
Body is whispering secrets to you about the life you're here to live. Decode the messages about the joy you're meant to experience despite, or maybe because of, the condition that upended everything you thought you knew. If you're ready to make magic and meaning of your one wild and precious life, learn more about coaching with Nona at nonajordan.com.
if you know me at all, you know I love coffee, but also I thoroughly love tea down to my core. And so I'm so glad that Nicole Wilson is here today to talk about tea and all of its benefits. Hi. I almost called you T. Hi, Nicole.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good. I'm absolutely fantastic. Do you have a nickname? Do people call you like the tea queen or something?
No, I don't quite have a nickname like that, but I definitely am known as the tea person for pretty much everyone who's met me.
When did you get interested in tea? And
Yes.
yeah.
So I grew up drinking tea. My mom still drinks more tea than I do, but she drinks her like grocery store tea bags with milk and sugar, as many people do. But when I went away to college, I didn't like coffee. And a lot of my classmates were, drinking coffee for all-nighters, morning classes. And I started trying different teas as, basically a replacement for that. And I got really lucky early on because around that time I found a website that was looking for tea reviewers. So they would send me these big packages of teas from all over the world and I would just write about them, which was a great deal because I was dorming. So free stuff is great when you're in college. But I also got this really great early education in tea where for a lot of people that would be much more gradual process where I kind of just dove right into the deep end.
Oh my gosh. And how long has this been now since you have the longest running blog of tea?
Yeah. So I wrote for that website for a little while and then I eventually started my own site, partly to just back up what I was writing for them. But my blog actually just turned 16 in October.
Sweet 16.
Yeah. So there's a few blogs that are slightly older than mine, but they're really not publishing on a regular basis, maybe once a year, where I really try my best to publish at least once a week.
Are you finding a lot of people are surprised at what tea can do for them? Or what are you hearing from the people that come to your site?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a lot of people do seek out tea for its health benefits. Definitely it kind of almost has an association where people always tell me like, oh, I only drink tea when I'm sick. But tea has some really wonderful health benefits. A lot of people do drink tea because it has antioxidants. It does also have caffeine, so it definitely helps us feel more wakeful. But one of the great things about tea also is that it contains L-theanine, which is an amino acid that relaxes the central nervous system. So even though it does have caffeine, you kind of have more like an extended wakefulness versus like that rush and crash like you might get from coffee.
I actually worked at a tea store for 9 hours once and then I quit. But one of the reasons why I took the job was because it was free tea. And I was shocked at the number of teas. Everybody knows green tea. Everybody knows black tea. Everybody knows like Earl Grey. But do we have a number of how many teas are available? Is that a thing?
So that can get a little bit tricky. There's technically 7 categories of tea. One of the most important things to know is that tea is an actual plant. So the Camellia sinensis is a plant that's native to China, but it's grown in lots of places now. So it's only tea if it comes from that plant. So things like peppermint or chamomile technically aren't tea because they don't come from the tea plant.
Are they then?
Yeah. But within that one plant, all of those different categories basically are determined by how the leaves are processed. So that one plant makes green tea, black tea, oolong, all of the different categories. And then within each of those different categories, you have different types that are based on like what variety was grown, where it was grown, how the leaves were processed. So it almost makes the possibilities unlimited in a way, which is part of what makes me still so excited about tea all these years later.
What did you go to college for? Because I'm assuming it wasn't tea education.
Yeah, no, I originally was wanting to be a horse trainer. That was kind of my original plan for life. Didn't work out that way, but I definitely wish I had found my passion for tea sooner because that probably would have saved me a lot of tuition.
But you probably learned so much while you were there
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
have a theater degree that I don't use. So, but I think, I learned a lot about life and myself during that very expensive time of my life.
Exactly.
You ended up writing a book about it. Can you show everybody the book, and we'll put it up here too on the screen?
Absolutely. So the tea recipe book came out in 2022, published by Rockridge Press. And so it's basically a collection of all of the different really fun ways that you can use tea, beyond just drinking it, as we normally do, just steeping the tea. There's recipes for lattes, bubble tea, cookies, all kinds of fun stuff. And there's kind of like a basic introduction where if you're really new to tea, it's just a really good way to get kind of the basics down, and not feel so intimidated. So that was kind of my impetus behind the book, was to make it so approachable for people that regardless of their experience with tea, they don't need to have fancy equipment in their kitchen. They can make these recipes with what they already have.
That's so smart. What's your favorite type of tea?
That can be tricky.
Depends,
I really
right?
do. Yeah, I do really love them all. And a lot of the times it has to do with my mood. I always kind of cheat and say oolong is my favorite, just because it's the most diverse category. Since tea is categorized by how the leaves are oxidized, oolong can be from like very lightly oxidized to very highly oxidized. So you can really find almost any taste you might want just within that one category. So that's always my kind of out.
And when you go to certain places that have tea, some of them get very fancy with the contraptions they use to do them. Is that more for show, or are there specific things to make specific types of tea?
Yeah, so it definitely does depend on how you're brewing, but there are many, many different ways to brew tea. A lot of times for loose leaf tea, you want to make sure that you have some kind of a strainer that's going to be able to separate the leaves from the water. Because tea does contain caffeine, caffeine has a bitter taste to it, actually. And so if you let your tea brew for too long, that's what's going to make it taste bad. So you want to make sure you have a way to, separate your leaves from the water at the right time, so that you're extracting that taste and the caffeine that you do want to feel awake from, but not so much that you don't like the taste anymore.
I feel like I have so many, I want to go through like a what are your favorites for people, because I think,
Sure.
I've learned already from you, different things out there. So let's say even for holidays coming up, what's a great holiday tea, especially now that we know that some teas aren't even teas?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorites definitely for the holidays, and especially as the winter weather gets here, is chai. So chai is traditionally a black tea, but it's blended with lots of warming spices like cinnamon and clove and ginger. Especially made as a latte, it's just really comforting and really warming. Definitely a festive style drink, I think, for that time of year.
That's a good one. What about for if someone is looking for energy?
For energy, I would probably suggest maybe matcha. So matcha is a Japanese green tea that's powdered rather than leaves that you would infuse. And so because it's a powder, it's made as a suspension, and then you drink it. So you're basically consuming the whole tea leaf. So you kind of get an extra charge of all the good stuff that tea has. So it's definitely a good choice if you're looking for something to wake you up.
It's also a very beautiful color.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. What about so when people are getting ready for bed, they think chamomile tea, right? To slow down and relax. But now that we know that chamomile isn't a tea, what would you recommend?
Yeah, so herbal teas or herbal infusions like chamomile are a great choice, especially if you're sensitive to caffeine. If you do want something that's still tea, one of my favorites for before bed is a Japanese green tea called hojicha. And so it's made more from the stems of the plant rather than the leaves, where caffeine tends to be concentrated in the younger leaves. And so because it's not made from so many of the leaves, it doesn't have very much caffeine. And then they also roast it. So it kind of has this deep, dark, caramelly taste that a lot of people think reminds them of coffee in a way. But it really is very soothing and not super energizing. So it's a good choice for later in the day.
Okay. Is there a tea that has the most caffeine?
Probably matcha would definitely be up there. For, caffeine is concentrated in the new buds of the tea plant. So teas that are made from more buds than larger leaves do tend to have more caffeine. That definitely tends to be green teas, which is kind of like the opposite of what a lot of people think. Like black tea has the reputation as being the highest in caffeine.
Yeah.
But it really depends on like what the base material it comes from, as to like how much caffeine it'll actually have.
That's so interesting. I used to have one of those flowering teapots where you'd get like the little thing and then you'd pour the hot water and it would like bloom into this beautiful flower. Do you have like recommended, I don't know what you call them, supplies, brewing supplies that everybody should have?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely an infuser basket, I always say, is kind of like the bare minimum. You don't need to spend a lot. A simple infuser basket, one that's really more wide open rather than a tea ball. Tea needs room to expand in order for you to get the full flavor. So if you shove your leaves into those like tiny balls that you might see, you're not going to get the full taste necessarily. But if you get a wide open basket that lets the tea really open up, you're going to get the full flavor. And those are super simple because you can use them with like any coffee mugs or cups or teapots that you already own. You don't need to necessarily go out and buy a ton of stuff to get started with tea.
You're using less dishes as well, which is helpful. Less to clean up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you've been blogging and for so long, way before so many people even were into blog. What have you learned about what has changed in your blogging style or in your blogging world over these last 16 years?
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of changes. When I first started, I was doing more like tea reviews, product reviews, and people started coming to me and asking questions that I was like, I should just write a blog post about this because I'm getting so many messages with people asking questions. And so that kind of evolved into really having more of like an educational angle to my blog. And that's kind of like, in a way, what I feel like my calling is now, is as a tea educator. There's still a long way to go, especially here in the US when it comes to educating people about tea. And so I've really kind of just taken that up as my work to do. So that's kind of my goal with the blog now, where the articles that I write, I do still review teas and review products, but the articles I write are definitely more to help, answer questions that people have about tea. And in a way, my goal is always to make it really fun and approachable. And sometimes, especially with tea or wine or anything that has kind of like a kind of short tip to it, people get a little snobby or, they tend to think what they do is better than how somebody else does it. Where for tea, I think it's really best to just make it as approachable as possible, because there's so many different ways that you can do tea. Different cultures do teas so many different ways that there really is no such thing as a right or wrong way. And so that's kind of always my approach through everything I do.
Just don't burn it. That would be the wrong way. Yeah. You have classes too that you offer, correct?
Yeah. So I've done classes at, tea festivals, and different events. And that's really one of my favorite things is sometimes you just get a group of people who know nothing about tea and they're just super excited to learn about tea. And, I love after a class, sometimes I'll get messages from people that they're like, I went to the store and I tried all these different teas and now they're like super into it. It's definitely one of my favorite things.
I mean, because there are so many health benefits to tea that like when you hear stories like that, you're actually like making people better. And that must feel so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the health benefits, mental and physical? Really, I mean, tea can be so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely just the process of brewing tea is almost kind of meditative, can be a bit of a ritual, especially if you really set aside the time to do that. It's we're always on our screens, we're always rushing around, and to just sit down and take 5 minutes to make a cup of tea, is really, I think, a really great mental health, hack in a way. And definitely, tea does have lots of health benefits, including, we talked about before, antioxidants, caffeine, the L-theanine. And often, one of the questions people often ask me is what tea is the healthiest? But I always say that the healthiest tea is the one that you like because you're actually going to want to drink it.
Yeah.
Where, if it's kind of like the gym membership you buy in January and by March you kind of stop going, where, if you have a tea that you really love and really enjoy, they all have some level of those health benefits. So I think it's really a matter of finding the best tea for you. And that's really going to be the healthiest, since it will be part of your lifestyle.
Where can people connect with you and follow you and sign up for the classes if you have them?
Yeah, so you can find me at teaformeplease.com. I'm also Tea For Me Please on most social media platforms, except TikTok. I'm the real Tea For Me Please, and someone took my name there. But yeah, I will, post on my blogs and my socials whenever I do have classes that are going on. And I'm hoping to launch some virtual classes soon. So that'll be fun to be able to bring tea to more people.
Yes, please let me know when you do those, because I have a
Absolutely.
family full of tea lovers, and that would be such a great, like fun time for us all to jump on a Zoom when we're all far away.
Awesome.
Cool. She is the queen of tea. I'm calling it right here. It's your new title. You can update your website and maybe your social media. Nicole Wilson, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And where can they get the book?
Yeah, so you can find it on Amazon and most major booksellers. If you have a local bookstore, they should be able to kind of order that for you too if they don't already carry it.
Great. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Tired of harsh chemicals in your home? Let's change that. At EcoGlow Cleaning, we bring eco-friendly expertise right to your doorstep. We will make your day richer by bringing a glow to your home or office. For over 20 years, EcoGlow Cleaning has been the trusted choice for professional cleaning services in the Charlotte area. From deep cleaning to regular maintenance, EcoGlow Cleaning offers a wide range of services. All services are tailored to your needs and schedule. Our eco-friendly products ensure a healthy and safe environment for you and your family, including your pets. For a free quote, visit our website at www.ecoglowcleaning.com or give us a call at 704-777-9768. EcoGlow Cleaning is a proud sponsor of Make Your Day Richer TV.
And we're back. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you had a great show. Go get some tea. Here in South Carolina, it's a little cloudy today, and that always makes me want tea and a couch. So maybe that's what I'll do this afternoon. Hey, on tomorrow's show, another great show right before Thanksgiving. We are talking to Deborah Cohen, and we're talking all about music, writing, and aging. And she has a new book. She's got music. She is in a beauty contest. This woman is busy, and she has had quite the life. So I'm excited to introduce you to her. So go make your day richer. Go get some tea. Go make someone else's day richer. You've made mine by watching this show. I love you for it. Thank you so much for doing that. If you want to advertise on the show, make sure you go to makeyourdayricher.com/advertising and fill out the little form, and we'll get you hooked up, and we can start advertising ASAP. Perfect time for the holidays coming up. All right. That's it. I hope you have a great day. I love you all. Bye-bye.